everybody, it's Jessica Morgan. I'm the city recorder for the city of Sweetwater, and I'm here with city planner John Campbell. How are we doing today, John?
Doing well.
Good.
How about you?
Good. We're happy to be here giving you all the quarterly update from the city. We're actually about a week late because I had a grandbaby last week, and I was out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He's perfect. So we're back today. Sorry we're about a week late, but we're happy to be posting this for you. We hope you guys follow along. By the way, our next Sweetwater Merchants and Property Owners Association meeting is October 19th at 8:30 a.m. Open to the public. That's where we discuss all of this stuff, and you'll hear it there first, and then we'll record it and post it to YouTube for all of you. John, the number one question I've been getting in the last few weeks is Wendy's and KFC. What is going on there? Dive in.
Well, I've had those same questions myself, but I will say this. I can confirm I've spoken to representatives from both of those, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to see some buildings going up and in place before the end of this year. So okay. I know that kind of, it gives some people some idea or some hope, but I know Wendy's is a little more complex because they're having to tear down an old existing building, and so they're going through the process with the state, with TDEC, about asbestos removal and things like that. So when you get into that, it takes a little more time, making sure all that stuff is done properly and you know, it's safe for everyone. So that's where they're at right now. They've taken bids on demolishing that building and getting the asbestos remediated and getting that out of there. So hopefully, next month that building will be gone, and then they can begin breaking ground on a new building. KFC, I spoke to a representative this week, and he did say that they had kind of slowed down the process, I guess. They came out like gangbusters, but then just so many projects going at one time. He said that they've circled back and recommitted to kind of get this thing and push it forward. So hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of the year, we'll see a building up there as well.
I need to know the exact date that I'm going to be able to eat mashed potatoes.
I'm with you on that.
Okay.
I tried to I tried to pin them down on an exact date, but no luck. So he just said that by the end of the year, they hope to have that project moving forward and a building in place.
Okay. How much do you think the economy nationwide is affecting these national chains? Like, is that part of what the delay is?
It is.
They've kind of cut back a little bit?
It is. I've spoken to multiple people about that, and they're just like everybody else, with supply chain issues, with cost of construction materials. It has definitely impacted it from commercial build outs. Both of these restaurants have said that, they're dealing with those same things just like everybody else, all the way up to industrial, Red Stag and the buildings and just the size of and the scope of the work that they do. When the price of steel is so high, they have to factor that in as well. So no doubt cost of construction, supply chain issues are still impacting, a lot of folks, not only residentially, but commercially and industrially.
Talk to us a little bit more about other commercial things that are going on in town.
Okay, so we've got the Wendy's and the KFC. We've touched on that already, but more locally, kind of hometown feel. We've got Sweetwater Taps is the name of the beer garden that's going in where Joe's Automotive used to be at the end of Main Street across from the post office. They are going to, you guys have seen kind of the work that they've been doing if you've driven by there. That's going to be opening up in September. That's the plan. So hopefully you guys are going to have a nice venue there downtown to kind of hang out. It's going to be an open indoor-outdoor seating for a beer garden. They're going to have food brought in through food trucks. They're also going to have an outdoor area seating and live entertainment as well. So hopefully you're going to have some nice live music, be able to sit down and have a good meal and have a drink there pretty soon in the fall.
One of the things the board authorized this year, the city board did, was Placer AI data, which it gives us information about visitors, where they come from, how many people come to our events, how many people come here on a regular Saturday, that kind of stuff. Some of that data indicated that one of our gap analysis was entertainment. If people are going to leave Sweetwater, it's to do something to find entertainment. So we're super excited. Scott and Heather Carroll are doing that Sweetwater Taps business. They also own Remedies Inn. They also own Carroll's Gun Store. So they're very successful entrepreneurs already. Everything they do a great job at it. And we're sure Sweetwater Taps is going to be great also. So we're excited to see that happen. And maybe people will stay here and get some of their entertainment instead of always driving somewhere else. It'd be nice to have that right here in Sweetwater.
Absolutely. And just another one kind of along those same lines, in that same vein, is just down the street, the carpool garage. He's got the billiard room there, and so I've noticed on weekends and a lot of time at nights on the pool tournaments, he's doing well there. He's also got some plans to maybe have some covered seating outdoors to expand just a little bit, and also provide some of that, outdoor themed area and entertainment kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
that's one of the great things about East Tennessee is we can sit outside comfortably a lot of months out of the year. So hopefully if you're into that kind of thing, you can utilize one of those two spaces. And of course we have another one coming up that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, the Lazy Beagle. So a lot of you guys have heard us refer to this as the Main Street Bar and Grill on the corner where Terps used to be. Local Commissioner Sam Mosier is doing that project. He's kind of let the cat out of the bag with the name. So the Lazy Beagle is going to be the official name for that restaurant, bar and grill. It's going to have rooftop dining. Still keeping our fingers crossed on that one too. Hopefully, late fall, maybe before the end of the year, we'll see something there. I don't know if Sam has had an official opening date, but he still kind of has a target date for sometime in the fall. So fingers crossed, maybe by the end of the year, that one will be up and running as well. That one is one that a lot of folks have been asking about because it's so visible right there in downtown. And I think just a lot of people are excited about the outdoor dining aspect of it, the rooftop dining, and anything that Sam does as far as downtown, he does very well. So I'm excited about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some of y'all have asked about the mural that's on the side of that wall. Obviously, while construction was going on, we had that property was being leased from the owner to store some of the construction equipment and things like that. That lease is ended. That owner has plans for that space. We spoke with her about repairing the mural, which she is all for, and we hope that we will be able to get a grant to repair that mural. We're applying for a National Endowment for the Arts grant. It's due next week, I think, to redo that mural and maybe put a mural on the side of Sam's wall up there, and then do like a mural trail brochure since we have several murals in downtown now. So if we get that grant, we'll be working on repairing that wall. If we don't, we'll probably let it stay like it is a little while. I know there's mixed feelings and mixed feedback on that wall. I love it. I think it's cool that it's an old wall that also has a touch of modern in it with Sweetwater, but that you can still see. And we knew the paint was going to, peel off. It's an old wall. That's what happens. It's not like the other murals where we primed it and got it ready, and we hope that mural stays there 10 or 15 years. This one is kind of one of those, it's so visible and everybody sees it, but it's kind of an homage to the fact that we're a historic downtown. So I love the way it looks now, but I know some people are like, we need to repaint it immediately. But if we get a grant for it, we will be repairing that and putting that mural back on, just like it is.
Yeah.
So what else? Anything else commercial? Are we moving to residential? Or?
No, there's some other stuff commercial. We'll move away from food though, so we'll get off the restaurants and talk about some other things. Out off of Murray's Chapel Road, there's work going on, excavation going on right now for Rendezvous Campground. So it's going to be an upscale RV campground. If you go out past the new Volunteer Auto Group and past the old vet clinic, and then you got Tennessee Metal Products. Just beyond that, they're moving dirt right now and getting it ready to install some of the infrastructure. So phase one of that is going to have about 85 RV sites for parking. It's going to be nice. It's going to have a bathhouse, a laundry room. It's going to have a playground and dog park out there for kids and things. And then later on in phase two, they're going to add an event center, a swimming pool, and all those things. So think KOA kind of campground, nice upscale campground. So anyway, that one is another one we're looking forward to. They've gone through all the hoops of submitting their plans, and they're to the point now where they're installing infrastructure and moving dirt. So,
okay, it's good to see something else going on at exit 62 because everything 60 also. Yeah. So exit 60, a lot of focus has been on exit 62 with Red Stag, so it's nice to see some things happening on exit 60 also. And we also know the manufacturer that is moving into the flea market is going to be a big draw for our area for really nice paying jobs, some skilled labor, sales positions. So hopefully in January they're going to be hiring for that facility.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll touch on that one in just a second, but jumping back into town here on Highway 11, the Walmart remodel. If you've been to Walmart lately, you've seen the containers out there in the parking lot, and you've seen that the store inside, things have been moved around a little bit. It's a little bit different than what we're used to. But that project is it's going smoothly. It looks like what they've done so far is going to be nice, new. It kind of gives it a fresh look inside, hopefully make everything a little more efficient. So I think by the time it's all said and done, it may be a little headache right now if you go there and you're looking for your items you normally get. They may be in a different place, but once it's all said and done, it's going to be a good thing. So I think
they're planning on a ribbon cutting mid-August,
okay.
So we'll post about that on the Sampo page.
Yeah, and then the property just beyond that, I do get a lot of calls and questions on the commercial property just beyond Walmart on Highway 11 on your left, kind of across from Sweetwater First Assembly. If you go out through there, of course, we've talked about it a little bit before. commercial developers, local guys have purchased that, and I haven't heard any plans for that yet, other than they've been getting some studies done, some engineering done to kind of figure out what can be done. There's Sweetwater Creek runs across the back of that property, it borders it, so there is a portion of that on the backside that's in the floodplain, but they're having the engineering studies done to see, how much they would have to do to, get that entire space usable. So hadn't heard any definite plans there, just doing some studies and trying to figure out exactly what they can use and how it can be used. Yeah. So that's pretty much it as far as commercial development goes. There's probably some other things going on that I don't know about. I will say this, I get a lot of calls and people saying, oh, I heard this is coming, I heard that's coming. I don't count my, chickens before they
Let's
hatch.
start a rumor.
Yeah,
well. What do y'all want to come? We're just going to start a rumor that that's what's happening.
I don't know that we'd have to start it. We can just jump in on the ones that are already there. So.
Yeah.
But people ask me that a lot, what's coming in off of Oakland Road across from Red Stag. They've heard this and they've heard that. And I don't commit to anything until I know for sure, until I see the plans on the table and they get approved. So as far as that goes, I don't have any knowledge of anything, concrete that's going in other than what we talked about.
The only thing I know about that for sure is that I was told by the person over those entities that he thought probably he'd have an update sometime in the fall. So hopefully sometime in the fall we'll know something about either who they're trying to recruit to that area or how it's going to be marketed. Or some kind of information. So maybe by our next update around October 19th, we'll have something to tell you on that front.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So that's all I've got for commercial. We'll jump to residential. That's okay. So
yep.
Talking about residential development, probably the biggest one that folks have seen visibly is River Park Townhomes behind Plaza 68. That's kind of been an ongoing thing for a while now. They've done the dirt work. They've got the infrastructure. They're putting it in currently. And I spoke to one of the representatives yesterday. They're about to the point to permit and start building out their structure. So they're getting pretty close to actually, putting some buildings up, hopefully in the next month or so. But what you're seeing there now is, they're putting in their sewer lines, they're putting in their storm drains and all that stuff that has to be done before the buildings go up. So hopefully in the next month or so, we'll start to see some buildings, some
something
townhomes.
Above the ground.
That's right, apartments and townhomes right there.
And they did do, is it 2 really large retaining ponds? Is it 1 retaining pond?
They've got 2 retaining ponds to take that water. Of course,
try and keep it off the roadway. They had a hydraulic engineer look at some of that, which we're going to talk more about water and flash flooding here in a minute. But
that's right. But yeah, that one should be seeing some buildings really soon on that one. And then not far from there in Willow Creek, there's a townhome going up right now. When you first go into Willow Creek there on the right, there's those townhomes. There was one that just never got built out. I think there was originally 5 or 6 planned and 4 or 5 were built, and there was one that wasn't. So the new owner that purchased that has begun construction on a townhome there in Willow Creek. So it's going up. That'll be 3. It'll be just like the existing ones that are currently there. 3 homes in one, basically. And then obviously the next phase of Willow Creek off of Stratford Avenue on that upper end is also slated to begin. So they're doing, they've done their engineering. They're going to be doing some of the work now to install some of that infrastructure, like we're talking about sewer lines, storm drains, all that stuff. So hopefully, again, over the next year or so, we'll begin to see that next phase of Willow Creek. I believe 48 homes maybe going in. So there's more housing on the way. It's just the process takes a little time to get it going. So
probably longer than it used to. It just takes a little while to get that started.
It does. On a good note, and I touched on this maybe in our Sampo meeting, the fact that there's not a lot of available new construction for people to move in here and buy. On a good note, a lot of the older homes that are here, whether they were rental properties or just homes that people owned that were kind of older and needed some renovations, a lot of those are being remodeled and renovated to either sell or rent. So that's a good thing. Some of those older homes that are getting a facelift and getting some of the needed repairs,
right,
and they're being sold. And it just helps, kind of the housing market as a whole. When somebody next to you improves theirs, then that only helps your property value. So that's a good thing that has come from all of this. If we don't have the new construction, then some of the existing homes that are there are being, brought up to code, which brings up a good point. I get this call sometimes. If it's just cosmetic work, if you're just replacing, a roof or some siding or, remodeling a kitchen, there's no permit required. But if you're
HVAC, you don't need a permit.
right, but if you're doing something structural, if you're changing, framing up new walls, or if you're doing foundation work,
Or trusses on a roof line.
that's correct. Or if you're doing something with what I call the guts, if you're changing out electric, if you're changing out plumbing, if you're doing something like that, then you need to go ahead and call and get a permit for that so we can come and inspect it and make sure it's done properly. And if you're just not sure if you need a permit, you can call our office, our department, anytime here at City Hall, and we can kind of talk you through that process.
Mm-hmm. All of our codes are also online. If you feel like digging through them, you can go to our website at sweetwatertn.net and read through that stuff. Talk a little bit about like outbuildings. People may not know that they do need to call and check and make sure they have proper setbacks and enough room on their lot if they're going to add a garage or a carport or an outbuilding.
Yeah, that's another one we get. It's a pretty common call. According to building code, if you're buying an outbuilding to place on your property, if it's a pre-made, building, then you don't necessarily need a permit. If it's a certain size, if it's under, it's 200 square feet or under, you don't need a permit. But if you're going to actually build a structure, stick build, or you're going to pour a concrete slab and put up a metal building, then go ahead and call us. We'll talk you through all that. There are some permits and inspections involved there, and then also the setbacks. You kind of mentioned a big one there. A lot of times people will just build a building and put it in the back corner of their lot, thinking, "Oh, I'll just stick it here," and they think they know where their property line is, and all of a sudden you're over the line on your neighbor's property, and that can get into some some issues, some civil suits and things like that. So it's always good to call us ahead of time and know you've got to be set back off your property line in order to do that. So yeah.
And what that does is when you pass away and your kids inherit your house, or if you ever sell the property that you're on, this prevents you from running into a problem during that closing or prior to being able to sell your house because, oh, that building's not on your property or it's not far enough off the setbacks. So we are not trying to beat you up and tell you what you can and can't do with your property, but it is going to help you in the long run to just call and ask the question ahead of time.
Not only that, but a lot of times people don't know that there are certain easements in certain places. So you may build a fence, or you may put a building over a utility line, an easement that they've got a utility line in the ground that you didn't even know was there. And then if they need to do work on that or access their line, then they could technically have you remove that building or tear it down so that they could get to their lines. So just make sure you give us a call if you have any questions at all. We'll be glad to talk you through all that.
As you can tell, John's really nice, but he's also really good to work with people and hopefully help them understand what the rule is and what they can and can't do. So you're not going to waste your time calling John or his office.
Yeah. And the last thing, residentially, I don't have any new updates on, some people keep asking me, hey, what's going out behind Burger King? Are they ever going to start building homes? What's going on the Hall property? I noticed they've sowed or planted it in corn. So each of those are still zoned residentially, those properties. They had been purchased, and some developers have, talked about putting homes there, but we've not seen any formal site plans submitted that have been approved. So basically the news is there's no news. They're zoned residentially, and that's it. Until we get a formal site plan before the Planning Commission that's approved, then technically no homes could be built. So that's kind of where that was at.
Okay. So John, do we want to talk about flash flooding and water issues in Sweetwater? I don't know if y'all realize this. If you've lived here your whole life, you might remember that Main Street used to flood all the way up to the storefronts before we had the watershed and different programs in place to help prevent the flooding. The name of the town is Sweetwater, so we do have a creek running through Sweetwater. It's the reason we exist. But we always have had issues with water. But there are some things that you all can do to help with this, especially with as much flash flooding as we seem to have had this year.
Yeah, that's right. And I just we partnered up with the street department because we had been getting some complaints from folks with clogged drains and things like that, and some of our guys had said, hey, can we just educate people? And so we posted yesterday on our Sampo page just a reminder, an informative little piece, just kind of letting people know your grass clippings, anytime you mow or blow leaves with a blower, any of that stuff, that's supposed to be contained on your site, on your lot. So if you're mowing, you need to either mulch the grass or have it blown back into your yard, because when you blow it out into the street, whether it's grass or leaves or sticks or trash, when you blow that out into the street, people think, oh, the street sweeper will get it. Well, the street sweeper does get it, but if it comes a big flash flood storm like we've had in the last few weeks, before the street sweepers come through, it just washes it all down to our catch basins and our drains, and of course it clogs those drains up, and then all of a sudden the water has nowhere to go. floods the roads, it becomes dangerous. So basically what we're doing is just reminding folks, don't blow your grass into the streets, don't blow your leaves into the streets, and if you see trash, just pick it up. Don't blow it out into the streets, because that just leads to clogged drains. And we do have ordinances against that. If we see people habitually blowing grass or leaves into the street, or that's clogging up our drains, we will be contacting you with letters. And then if it continues to happen, you can be cited into city court, which comes with some fees and fines and things like that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be fining people, but we do want people to not clog up our drains. It makes more work for our street department guys. It takes them away from other things that are more pressing that they could be doing. So we just want to make sure everybody understands that. Please don't blow your grass out into the streets. It just causes a headache for everybody.
Yeah. And if you guys are piling brush up that you've had up, we know we have a lot of brush everywhere. We've got the brush truck running a regular route. You do not have to call City Hall and tell us about the brush truck. They're running a regular route. If you've got something really pressing, like everybody in your family is coming in on Saturday and you really want that brush pile picked up by a certain date, you call us and we'll get that message onto them. But it's really inefficient if we pull them off of a job to go pick up brush somewhere else. So we want them to be able to run that regular route and stay caught up on everything. Obviously, when there's a big storm like there was last weekend, there's brush everywhere all over town. There are some pretty major trees down all over town, so they're a little bit behind from where they would normally be. But let them run that regular route. It's the most efficient way to get everybody picked up in an efficient manner and timely manner. The other thing is, don't set those brush piles on top of the storm drains, because that again makes that water push it down into the storm drain. It clogs up the storm drains, and then the water can't go into the storm drains, which is the point of the storm drains. So if you don't want your yard flooded, your house flooded, your garage flooded, make sure you're not blocking those storm drains in any way. Another call we get a lot of times about brush is it's been sitting out there 2 weeks and they haven't picked it up. Well, if it's a big enough pile that we don't manually pick it up and we're using a backhoe to pick it up, if you park your vehicle in front of the brush pile, we can't get to it with the backhoe. So you need to make sure that that brush pile or that trash or anything, we can have that happen with trash pickup too sometimes, that you don't have a vehicle blocking it. If the vehicle's blocking it when the truck comes by, they're just going to pass it up and check on it again a week later. So it may sit there way longer than you or we would like it to sit there. You got anything else before we move on?
One thing I didn't touch on was industrial, and you touched on it just a little bit out at the old flea market site. That building, that property had been purchased to renovate for a new business, some trailers and some powder coating and things like that. So I've driven out by there. Looks like they're kind of clearing all that out to install their powder coating system. Looks like everything's coming along nicely. That's one that we're looking forward to. I think brings some good quality jobs, some skilled laborers to our area, so they're not having to drive to Knoxville or Chattanooga and places like that. And then of course the other one is that we've been talking about now for a year or more is Red Stag, and they're obviously operating out of the building now. They've got just a few touch-ups to do on some office space in there that for their executives. But yeah, it's looking really nice out there. They're working on a guard shack out front, and then also I think an employee building out front as well. So that's promising to see that project continue to move forward on an industrial side of things.
Talk a little bit about the new traffic light that's been installed out there in Stag on Oakland Road.
Yeah, so first and foremost, that is a state highway, so TDOT is in charge of that project. They're going to be building a brand new bridge right there. But in the meantime, there's going to be some growing pains and some headaches for all of us local guys and local gals that travel that road. So just know that currently it is a bit confusing if you're coming off the ridge and all of a sudden you see these big wide lanes and new pavement, but there's no striping, there's no arrows, you're not sure exactly where to be. So my advice, because the light, going in and the stripe's not there yet, just proceed with caution. As you're coming down the ridge, don't drop the hammer, don't let the hammer down and be flying down the ridge or flying up the ridge. Just when you come through there, just know that, like, hey, this thing's not striped yet, I'm not exactly sure which lane I'm in, if there even is a lane. Just proceed with caution until they get the thing striped and get the light up there. It's a state issue. There's not a thing that we can do about it other than make calls and say, hey, can we get some stripes out there? So just be cautious.
And they do have some signage out there telling you there's a construction area ahead, so it's not like they're not doing anything. But I think also part of the holdup is they also have a paving project for Highway 11 Main Street that is TDOT funded and TDOT organized and administered. The same contractor that does the paving does not also do the striping, so it's two different contractors that do that, even if it's let under the same project. So they're probably waiting until that Main Street road is paved, and then they're going to come through and stripe everything at the same time, just for economy of scale to help control the cost on that. So be looking forward to that Main Street paving and restriping. Also, it might cause some traffic issues. God knows between 2 and 4 on Main Street, there's plenty of traffic issues down there anyway, so just be aware of that. Got anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. We kind of talked about grass clippings and trash. Just a reminder, the garbage contractor is now strictly enforcing what the rule is, which is 90 gallons of trash per week. So if they miss your garbage completely, give us a call. We'll give you the number to call them, or actually if you just call in to City Hall at any hour, it'll give you the number that you can call for missed garbage. Also, so since they're strictly enforcing that 90 gallons a week, that's like 2 45-gallon containers, which a lot of you all may have more than that. That doesn't include your grass clippings and things like that. The city, that can be bagged and set to the side. We do require that you bag your leaves between April and September, and then the leaf truck runs between September and April. So you don't have to bag them between September and April, because that's obviously when they're falling the most. Let's talk about our community center project. We talked to the utility board day before yesterday. The mayor called, and they look to be moving out of the large blue building downtown right behind the depot sometime in late September, early October. So the city will be purchasing that property from the utility board, and then we'll be working on drawings and doing things to turn that into the community center. So that project is still underway. It takes a while to get that kind of stuff done, but we're working on the drawings and the design of that, and we're excited about that project.
Absolutely.
Tax-free weekend is this weekend. So you want to buy your office supplies, we'd love for you to stay local, even though we're not collecting any property or any sales tax off of that this weekend. It's good for us to support our local businesses because they're the ones who sent your kids to the Baseball World Series, and they're the ones who support the high school's new volleyball team. And those local businesses are the heart of our community. So please get out, try and stay local if you can. We also have a few other events coming up. Next Tuesday, August 1st, is Sweetwater Police Department's National Night Out. I want to give a plug to our public safety guys. Our police and fire department are the best that there is. We stand behind that. We love our police and firemen. I think we won 4 awards from the Monroe County Advocate and Democrat for the best. Our chief won best police chief, our best police officer. We had 3 firemen fill the firefighter spot. So we're really proud of those guys, and we're so appreciative of all they do. And one of the things they do is National Night Out. This is a national organization that does August 1st, but Sweetwater Police Department heads it. The fire trucks will be there. The police department's going to have their new grant paid for SRO vehicles that have been striped in Sweetwater colors, and they look great. Your kids are going to be excited about it. It gives us that sense of hometown pride. So come out to National Night Out. It's 6 to 9 Tuesday. Everything is free. You get to swim in the city pool for free. There's vendors with food and free inflatables and the fire trucks and everything. 6 to 9 Sweetwater Recreation Complex off Sterrett Street, Tuesday, August 1st. And then we also have a fall fashion show and a ladies' night out scheduled for October 19th, which is a Main Street fundraiser. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can start getting tickets on that soon. September 28th is Wolfstock. Do you know what Wolfstock is, John?
I do know what Wolfstock is, yeah.
So Josh Isaac, our Main Street director, this is his baby. He's envisioned this. It's going to start in Sweetwater Duck Park. They have like 20 some odd vendors or something. Like, this was our first year doing it. We were going to do some little small thing. Nope. Josh has knocked it out of the park, and we're going to have a huge event for your favorite furry friends. They're even going to choose like a dog of the city or something. Like there's some kind of competition in Wolfstock. So
dog of the year, maybe?
Dog of the, maybe something like that, yeah. So do you have a dog you're going to enter in that?
I have a dog. I don't know if I'm going to enter it in there. I don't trust my
golden
dog.
Doodle or
yes,
Labradoodle?
we do. We have a Labradoodle. I don't know that I trust her not to like tear down the event completely. Like she would be so excited and so like just like hectic down there. She would go nuts. With other dogs, she would love to play with them. So I'm not sure. If I take her, I'm probably going to have to like...
It's a workout.
It is a workout,
yeah.
trying to hold her.
So September 28th, there's information on the Sweetwater Merchants and Property Owners Association Facebook page about that, or you can call City Hall and ask for Josh. He can give you all the information about Wolfstock 2023, the inaugural year. I have a feeling this one will be an annual event. Also, October 31st is Halloween. I know y'all are laughing at me. It's a Tuesday. It's going to be on October 31st. That's when we do Halloween in Sweetwater. We like to say it's 5 to 8. We'll have lots of activities in the Duck Park and in the downtown area. We have a trunk or treat space. If you all want to register your church or nonprofit to have a free trunk or treat space, just call City Hall or email us. We will also be selling vendor spots. If you have something you want to sell or raise money for, come on in. We'll have you there too. We'll do our trick or treat trail. That's a lot of T's and R's. trick or treat trail along the duck park. Again, that was a massive success last year, so we're going to keep doing that. I think it's a lot of fun. It helps take some of the pressure off Mays Avenue, although everybody still goes to Mays Avenue because it's awesome. And then November 25th is Small Town Christmas, which won the National Main Street Neighborhood Championship Award this year. They gave us $5,000 to spend on this year's event because the 2022 event was the best in the nation. So congratulations to Haley and Josh and all our Main Street people who helped pull that together and made it a nationally award-winning event. We beat Chicago, Illinois. For our event in Sweetwater, Tennessee.
So basically we're national champs.
We are national champs. We are totally national champs. I love the way you worded that. I also want to just put a plug in. The National League of Cities asked us to speak on Monday of this week at the Tennessee Municipal League Conference. So I got to go over to Nashville and talk all about Sweetwater. The session was on retail recruitment and how towns and cities can do retail recruitment and what a benefit it is to towns and cities. So it was our pleasure to represent Sweetwater, Tennessee for the National League of Cities, and we were really flattered to be asked by them. So that was exciting too. What else we got, John? Anything else we need to talk about?
I think that's it. That's a lot. But there's a lot going on, and you guys know that. We've said that for, gosh, a year, 2 years, ever since we've been doing these updates. It's a fun time to be here. It's a really exciting time. Sweetwater's growing. We're on the map. People know about us. And, you know, we've said this a lot. You've heard this buzzword, I think, and they even mentioned it in the commissioner's race, smart growth. And so we are pro-growth, but we are also a small town, and we love that small town feel and that small town vibe. So we want to grow, but we want it to be good growth. We want it to be sustainable growth. We're not just wanting to be some little boom town that's here today and gone tomorrow. We want people to be rooted here and love our community and be a part of our community. And so that's what, when we talk about smart growth, we want to be building things for the future or the next generation for our kids and our grandkids. And so it's just an exciting time to be a part of Sweetwater.
It is. July is our start of our fiscal year, so we're trying to close out June and close out the last year and get started on our new year. We also have a lot of turnover, so you're going to see some new faces, some new employees here with the City of Sweetwater. Congratulations to Joanna Jinks. She was elected City Commissioner, and she has been placed over the Street Department. Our Street Superintendent, Richard Jenkins, retired last month. Richard, we hope you're having a great time, and we know you're not watching this, but we hope that you're having a great time in your retirement and have a long, healthy, happy retirement. We have a couple other guys that are getting ready to retire that have been long-term employees, and we're so grateful for their service. Mike Underwood and John Brewster and Bill Patterson, just some really great employees that have served the city well, and we're so appreciative of you all. So you'll be seeing some new faces come in. One of them is Landon Purdy, our new IT person. He is running the camera behind there. Hey Landon, thank you for running the camera for us and fixing all of our computer problems and handling our cybersecurity and everything else that we've asked you to do in the first 2 weeks. So we're appreciative of you. Thanks everybody. We love getting to talk to you every quarter. We wish we could do it more often, but frankly, we barely get it in every quarter. But anytime you have a question in between these, just give us a call. We're happy to tell you whatever we know and whatever we're allowed to tell you about. So see y'all later. Bye.